Hey yo, I need somebody to pray for me. I need somebody to pray for me. And yeah, he coming at me faithfully. Hey yo, I need somebody to pray for me. I need somebody to pray for me. My father gon' make a way for me. Hey yo, I need somebody to pray with me.
I am back, and thanks for tuning in for another episode of What's Your Story? And I'm Eric Durante, and right now I have here with me
Edward L. Chambers.
Edward L. Chambers, Sergeant.
Gunnery Sergeant.
Huh?
Gunnery Sergeant.
Gunnery Sergeant Edward L. Chambers. And I've heard a couple, little rumors in the gym about, his story and, a few things that happened to him, but, I wanted to get his story myself. So, and it is very, very powerful. It is going to bless you. So, Edward, tell the people, brother, what's your story?
Hello, my name is Gunnery Sergeant Edward L. Chambers, United States Marine Corps, retired. My story is, the biggest part of my story is why I joined the Marine Corps. I didn't join the Marine Corps until I was 24 years old. I was born and raised in Dahlonega, Georgia. I was working for Kmart at the time, just bored. North Georgia hasn't cooked off growing yet as the powerhouse it is today. Not much going on, so I was kind of bored and wanted to join. And right next to the recruiting station was a recruiter who had a daughter. So yeah, just ended up in the Marine Corps, and I actually joined as a reservist going to boot camp. And at boot camp, I was the same age as my drill instructors. I got treated a little different, but they gave me little special privileges here and there. But I actually went to boot camp, had a great time, and at the end, my drill instructors asked me why was I a reservist, and I said I really wasn't sure, and they convinced me to go from reservist to active duty. 20 years later, I got out, but went to boot camp, did great, and after that I went to my MOS school, Camp Johnson. I was a motor T guy. Motor T is a combat MOS from the Marine Corps, and so we call ourselves grunts with wheels. And so after motor T school, here I am. I'm young, I'm single, ready to see the world. They put me at the Naval Hospital to drive an ambulance. Yeah, so I thought at first I was kind of bummed out that I was at the hospital and I didn't get a chance to travel yet. But looking back, I see that I had to learn to save lives before I could take lives. So my time at the Naval Hospital, I became an EMT, and I became an EMTI, and I spent almost 3 years at the Naval Hospital. And additional duties, I went to the rifle range, and I was helping people shoot. I was a primary marksmanship instructor in my spare time. And that's the first thing I learned about the Marine Corps, is that you're always doing something different. You're never same thing, and there's always something to do. So I get orders, I leave the hospital, and I report to 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines, the very day that Iraq invades Kuwait. And so here I am, new to the fleet, and first thing we're going to do, we're getting ready for combat. So around Christmas time, my unit got activated, and we went to Saudi Arabia, and then of course the lead up to Desert Storm, and still remember to this day our battalion commander talking about that we were going to be the ones for 2nd Marine Division. We were going through Blue Lane, and we was going to be one of the first units through the minefield, and that at the end of that journey, our unit would probably be more likely, so the losses would be severe, and then we would have to step aside and let the next unit become behind us. Still to this day, remember colonels talking about that. But we didn't stop, and matter of fact, we led the charge all the way.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a lot of lessons learned. Wouldn't trade it for the world, but I guess my biggest memories of the war, compared to today, was that we didn't have the communication that we have today. Today, young Marines, sailors, and soldiers can basically call from their tent, or they can reach out emails or even text some locations. We didn't have that. We had to stand in line at the phone centers. It could be up to 3 to 4 hours just to make a 5-minute call back home.
Ooh.
Yeah. GPS was new. We were one of the first units to get GPS, and nobody knew how to use it, so we had to learn real quick in the desert how to navigate with the GPS. Watching, we were located in Saudi Arabia right on the line with Kuwait. It's called a berm, just a big, imagine dirt being pushed up. And watching the air campaign every night, Just imagine what those people were going through, getting bombed every night. I mean, it was this endless plane after plane. And then waiting. I guess that's always the biggest thing, and is, you're waiting for your turn, or waiting for the call. Still remember when we got the word go across, and everybody wrote the letter, just in case something did happen. Remember, just the Iraqis threw everything they had at us. We got hit with mortars. We got hit with artillery. We even got hit with a missile. They launched a missile at us, and as a last-ditch effort. But remember getting into Kuwait. Was the shortest 3 days and longest 3 days of my life.
Wow.
So if that makes sense to you, but it was a short war by all means. The ground offense lasted 3 days, but for those who were there, it seemed like it was forever. Came back from Desert Storm. I'm still with 2-2. We get orders. We go on a float. The Marine Corps hops on ships and they go out and float around. And we're a fast react force just in case something happens out there. So we're out, and we once again we get the call, and we go to the coast of Bosnia. So we're with the 26th MEU. And like I say, our job out there is we are a quick reaction force in case something goes happen. And then the Christian and Muslims are fighting each other for control, and so we're there to support anything that the UN needs. We do get the call. A Italian cargo plane went down, and my unit got the call to go in to retrieve the pilot and the crew from those planes that went down. Once again, a lot of hard lessons learned on that. For me. We put all our vehicles on what's called an LCAX. It's one of the vehicles that float. It has a big propeller on the back of it. So we load up our quick reaction team, and we went set out in the water, and we set, and we set, and we're set. You do not know what misery is till you're in a confined place, floating, hot, with 24 other Marines. Once again, that was over with, and we had an exercise that we had to do with the Turkey, and we do annual training with them. It's something we always do. But just before we get there, and we're getting ready to go ashore to do training with Turkey people, the military, the Saratoga, by mistake, accidentally, fires a missile into one of the Turkey destroyers. Oh. Yeah, so we had to pause and go from training into a rescue mission with that, but unfortunately a mistake from Saratoga. She fired a missile, and so they wanted to continue the training exercise. So we went ashore, and we were not welcome. Yeah, so we had blanks, they have live rounds, and everywhere we went, nobody trusted us. So one of my most intense training period was in Turkey, and like I say, it was the fact that you didn't know if somebody was just going to take their revenge out on you or their frustrations out on you.
Oh my God.
So I come back. I've been with 2-2 for a while, roughly about 3 years, and I wanted to transfer. So I put it's called the AA form, it's Administrative Action Report. So I put my AA form in, and I still remember the gunny from regiment who was right beside us. Still remember him coming down and goes, I was a sergeant at the time, he goes, Sergeant Chambers, you want to leave, right? And I said, yeah, and he goes, and started, instead of parking there tomorrow, park over there. I was like, Gunny, I was like, that's regiment. He goes, boy, you are smart. I was like, I don't think anybody understood. I've been in this building for 3 years. And I wanted to see something else. He goes, well, trust me. So I did. And I went to 2nd Marine Regiment. And what I didn't know was that Haiti was coming up. The dictator for Haiti, some people will remember him as Baby Doc. Yeah, he just was not a good guy. He ruled the country, he stole money from them, and just basically, if you're looking for evil, look for that guy there. So I remember that was coming up. And we didn't really have a senior staffing CO. I was still a sergeant at the time, and Colonel Jones was the CO, and I remember him telling me that he had faith in me, that he didn't need another new staff sergeant, that he would take me to Haiti as the operation chief. Wow. Yeah. So we went to Haiti. Like I said, we got there, we landed. We actually did a combat landing, one of the first ones since World War II.
Wow.
Yeah. Once again, a lot of lessons learned on that one. For Haiti, I learned to go from combat to humanitarian over in a matter of seconds. You go in expecting the worst, and then when you get there, you have to take your gloves off and change roles real fast. You're not there to jump on people anymore. You're there to actually make sure their welfare is good. So, it was the first time that in a situation where I had to go from being bad to good. And then you realize that you're trying to do everything you can to help people. So our operation in Haiti came to our time was to rotate with another unit. So we did our rotation, we said our goodbyes, and then we came back to the States. Now, I'm a sergeant who needed to get promoted to staff sergeant. So, in the Marine Corps, you have to do something else. You have to do another job, what they call a B-billet, right? You have to do something special. So from the time I joined the Marine Corps up to this point, I wanted to be a drill instructor. So I submitted another AA form to become a drill instructor. And I still got a copy of it, but I actually got my AA form back, and my AA form said 7A Marine is too old for drill field. Dang. And that was the penalty for coming in late in life. But even though that, my sergeant major tried to argue with the monitor that I ran a first-class BFT. He had no doubt in his mind that I would make it, that they just wouldn't give. So for the next couple of weeks, there is a lot of discussion about what to do, what I'm going to do next. And then my colonel came to me and said, I found you a job. And I said, what? He goes, you're going to be a career planner. And career planners is a person who gets people to re-enlist. And I was like, sir, I do not want to be a career planner. He goes, it's a B-billet. They just made it a B-billet, and he goes, they'll get you what you needed to get promoted. You get your check in the block, and you can get promoted. And I was like, sir, I just don't want to be a career planner. So he goes, trust me, and he says, go and talk to this colonel. He was waiting for you. He wants to talk to you. The career planner he has right now almost got him in trouble. And he says they're just looking for somebody to pull him out of the fire. And so I go over there, and it's on the air station, and I pull into the parking lot, and it's a Cobra and Huey squadron. Yeah, so I was like, this might be interesting. I might want to become a career planner. Wow. So I speak with the colonel, and we talked for a while, and he asked me what my biggest problem with being a career planner is, and I just said that a career planner gets every other job that nobody wants. And then I said, I said, they just get stuck with everything. And he goes, and he made me the promise if I become a career planner that I wouldn't get any job that I didn't want, that I didn't agree to. And then and we were talking, and he said, well, go downstairs and get a flight suit, and I'll take you for a flight. And it took me for my first Cobra ride, and I was hooked from that point. Yeah. So I spent the next 3 years helping Marines re-enlist, and I got a chance to do a lot of flying in Cobras and Huey. And the biggest takeaway from that was that I got to really see how the air wing connects with the infantry. Wow. Up to that point, all my communication with air wing guys has just been over the radio. So now I'm actually in the bird and seeing one-on-one what goes on. And that comes into play down the road too a lot. But that was my first time actually seeing what happens, being there and being part of it and understanding what aircraft invitations are, how long it takes to load up a bird. Did that for 3 years, and it's time for me to come back to the fleet. I get promoted. I got promoted to staff sergeant, and so I check in the box. I get promoted to staff sergeant. So I'm coming back to the fleet, and I'm running into a colonel that I used to work for, and he's down at Division G4, and he goes, "How would you like to teach the combat motorcycle course?"
Wow.
Yeah. Now, up to this point, I did it as a side job, in addition to my other duties. And we really didn't have anything on paper. There were no standard operating procedures. It's just what we thought it should look like. So I said, of course, I would love the opportunity. So we make it a formal division school. We set operating procedures down, standard operating operating procedures. And for 2 years, I get to ride motorcycles every day.
Wow.
Still my favorite job in the Marine Corps, being a combat motorcycle instructor.
Wow.
Yeah, and the big takeaway from there is that that's the first time I actually influencing policy. I'm pretty sure some of the stuff I wrote is still being used today, and so it's for the first time that I actually got to influence and actually make a decision on what people will do and how they would do it. So I still take that today. That was one of my best tours in the Marine Corps was the combat motorcycle course. Just what I learned from that. All right. So flash forward. It's been 3 years, and I need to get promoted to gunny. Gunny's board coming up, and I want to get promoted to gunny. Up to this point, I've been in motor T units, but I had never been the motor T chief. I always done something different, or like the combat motorcycle course, career planning, and I always never got a chance to be a motor T chief per se. Never got a fitness report as a motor T chief. So I make a decision that I call the monitor and say, look, I love teaching the motorcycle, but it's not going to get me promoted. And I said, I need a motor pool. And he goes, the only motor pool I have left that needs a motor T chief at this time is 1st Tank Battalion out in California. I said, they're in 29 Palms. He goes, yeah. So I thought about it and called him back and said, I'll take the orders.
Wow.
Yeah, so like I said, I knew I needed a motor pool and I needed it to get promoted. And then I'm only there in less than 6 months, and Operation Iraqi Freedom is coming up on the horizon. If you got to go to war with tanks. I mean, it's incredible what those guys do out there on the battlefield.
Wow.
1st Tank Motor Pool is one of the largest in the Marine Corps. A tank takes 500 gallons of fuel every time it starts. So as a motor T guy for a 1st Tank Battalion, you're hauling a lot of fuel, you're hauling a lot of ammo, and it's probably for a motor T guy, is the ultimate challenge where you want to be if you're a motor T guy. So I leave California, I leave Carolina and I go to California, and this is my first time on the West Coast. So I guess this is a good time to talk about my kids and how important they played into my life. So my firstborn actually was born right before I went to Haiti. So here she is, this little thing, and you leave, and you don't know how long you'll be gone. You don't know when you're coming back, and in case of actually, I came back. She's walking, saying her first words, and so you miss a lot. What sounds good and looks good, during your time away, you actually miss a lot. You give up a lot, and you can't put that in a bio. You can't. I wish that was a spot when you're telling all the good stuff that you put in there what you missed. So, like I say, Ashley was just born right before I went to Haiti. She was just only, I think, 4 months old. And like I say, when you come back, they're walking and talking and a little person. My son, Brad, was born just after I got back from the float. So he didn't really miss a lot. Got to see most of. I was there when he was born, and I got to spend a lot of time with him. And then we go to California. So we pack up the family. We pick up Ashley. We pick up Brad, and so I'm getting settled in the first tanks. We get the word that we're going, and it was about this time of year we got the word, and we went to the Marine Corps Ball in Las Vegas, me and my ex-wife. So we're sitting there, and all of a sudden she gets sick, and she goes, "If I didn't know better, I think I was pregnant." Well, if you may recall, I didn't join the Marine Corps until I was 24, and then at 40 years old, I had my third child, and so we find out just right before we go to Iraq that we're pregnant. And so once again, I hop on a plane and go, and missed the whole pregnancy. Missed it. I got a chance to come home 2 weeks before the baby was born. And it was just, nothing special. It was just the way it worked out, but I missed the whole 9 months of being pregnant. Wow. Yeah. The march up to Baghdad, it will probably go down in history as one of the biggest fights in the Marine Corps. It's like, say, imagine every day fighting, every day rounds, every day. And then, the big takeaway from Iraq, and as with all my operations, is that the Iraqis wanted to be free. I was there when the statue came down. So I was there, and I watched the Iraqis. I watched them put the rope around the statue, and the statue coming down is the first time that the Iraqis and America worked together in Operation Iraqi Freedom, and that's why the whole event about the statue was coming down was us and them working together. We didn't want to blow up the statue without them helping. We wanted them to know that this is their country and that they got to fight for it. So the statue coming down was the first official of us working together, and like I say, I stand as a testimony that they wanted to be free. I just didn't know how to get there. Same thing with the Haitians, they want to be free, just don't know how to get there, and I guess, my biggest regret is that I never got to see any of this materialize into anything long term,
Man.
So, like I say, it's a sad story all the way around that, you do what you do, and then you have to leave. You can't always be there. You can't. But I wish the outcomes would have been better all the way around. I always consider myself being in the right place at the right time, I guess, if you want to say that, or the right place at the wrong time. For Desert Storm, my unit made Time magazine. So we made Time magazine cover. We're holding the flag as the final announcement of the cease of operations for Desert Storm. Fast forward, I'm with First Tank. We make Time magazine again.
Wow.
Yeah, so I always consider them. I just been lucky being at the right place at the right time. But Operation Iraqi Freedom's over. I'm not over. Let me back up. Not over. Our time is over. So it's time for us to come back, and we do. We come back, and then you start to see the writing on the wall that this is not going to be something quick and easy like Desert Storm. That it's going to be a long-term effect, and then the Iraqis change on us. Instead of being our friends and helping us and being our partners, we see a big shift. We see that now we're the enemy, and that's when we start seeing IED attacks pick up. We see them challenging us more, and you can see that. I physically saw it, how they went from wanting the freedom to now we're the bad guys, and they're looking to blame us. It was a big change. So come back, and I only done 2 years in California, and I get orders back to Camp Lejeune. And so I come back to Camp Lejeune, and I end up at Second Marine Logistics Company, and no more than I check in, they tell me that I'm going back to Iraq. Yeah. So I go back to Iraq in '06, and '06 is when the Iraqis were having their election. They were getting a chance to vote, and it was complete chaos. You had people who wanted to vote, and and were getting just because they may express their views previously, they were getting shot, and especially on the day of the election. I mean, literally people were getting killed just to go vote. Wow. Yeah, so we're very lucky that we don't have that in America.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, just to go cast your vote, you were could have cost your life. But I see it once again where we had that connection. We had them working with us. It just wasn't there in '06. They were suspicious of us. We were suspicious of them. We just didn't get that good feedback. Every time you would go into a village, and every time you talked to someone, you just didn't know, and it's almost like you could feel that they just didn't want to talk to you and didn't want to be part of it. So I just think the biggest takeaway from it is just that we go in with good intentions, we just don't get a chance to make it happen. Yeah. So it is what it is, I guess. But I do. At this point, I got 19 years in the Marine Corps, so I have to make a decision. Do I stay or do I get out? And well, my ex-wife made that decision. So I was wanting to stay in a little longer, but she did not. She said, "You promised 20 years and you would get out." And so I came back from Iraq and I put my retirement papers in. I was a year from having 20 years, and so I wanted everybody to know that I wasn't mad. I was just done. It was time to move on. So at 20 years, I put my papers in, and I retired 20 years and 20 days in the Marine Corps. And like I said, had fun, cry sometimes. Would I do it again? I would do it all over again. So if there's one event that stands out in my life, it was when I was in Iraq on the march up to Baghdad. My lieutenant comes over the radio and says that he thinks there are people breaking into our armory, what he believes to be an armory. And could we go check it out? What he meant to say, it was an armory. It was a Congo line of people breaking into the armory. Oh. And me and the other gunny from my motor pool and 2 cooks. If you're going to go fight, you're going to need cooks, all right? So we picked up 2 cooks along the way, a gunny and a staff sergeant. And we pull up, and it was kind of a hill. And as we pull over the hill, we see it. And they see us, we see them. And me and the staff sergeant jump out of the vehicle, and we head towards the line because what we saw RPGs. And we didn't want those RPGs be used against us later on. So we take off, and in all the confusion, we all got split up. So I went to the left, Staff Sergeant went to the right, and then when you turn around, didn't realize anybody was there. So I'm now trying to make my way back because I realized that I'm by myself, that I need to get back to the vehicle. So as I turn around, I start taking small arm fire, and I go to the building, and as I'm approaching the building, the guy comes out, and he's literally right in front of me, and I had no choice but to grab the barrel of the gun. It's hot. I got gloves on, but it still goes through my glove. So I still got the scars today where it burned my hand. But it was a fight that I will never forget. And of all the things, after the fight was over with, the thing that stuck out the most to me was I had a watch, a military-style watch, and it broke during the fight. And I remember stopping to pick up the watch. I was like, why?
Wow.
Yeah, I had to stop and pick the watch up.
Wow.
But like I say, if there's that one time during the fight, Iraqi came up behind me and pulled the trigger on the pistol, and I really thought that was it. I thought that was going to be it. But the weapon malfunctioned. Couldn't have been a kid no more, 15 or 16 years old. He put the rounds in backwards, and like I said, I thought was going to be the end.
Man.
So once again, God was with me. Somehow I made it back, and at this point, the gunny who stayed with the vehicle had called in reinforcements, and the whole company came to my rescue. I say that never forget that day as long as I live. We come back from Iraq, and this will be my last tour duty. I put my retirement papers in. It's that day comes, and it's time for me to say goodbye. And I still remember the colonel calling me on stage, and in the Marine Corps, when you retire, the last thing you do is you request permission to go to shore for the final time. So I remember asking permission to go to shore for the first time. Colonel granted it, and at that moment you realize that it's over. It's done. 20 years came and gone, and it went fast. It really went fast, and I had a great time. I enjoyed all the jobs. Try to keep in contact with all the people I met, and thankful to be alive. I consider myself blessed. Never doubted one minute that God was with me through all this. Still feel blessed. Today, I still feel blessed today. So I retired, and one thing about being in the Marine Corps, especially, but being in the military, the Marine Corps makes it harder, is on family. I told you about the kids, missed all their opportunities. Oh, I forgot to mention Brandy. Brandy was born in 29 Palms, one of the few kids that are actually born in 29 Palms. Just graduated from ECU, but she never got to experience the Marine Corps life. So of my three kids, Brandy was at the end of my career, and she has a whole different outlook than my first two kids. She views it different, but so we retire. We're back in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and if you have any problems in the Marine Corps, it just magnified. It just gets magnified. So me and my wife just decided that this wasn't going to work out, and that we all need to go our separate ways. So me and my wife got the divorce, and I stayed around Jacksonville till all the kids went through school. Brandy was getting ready to go to college, and so I'm single, and I've been single for 10 years, and I thought I was going to be single for the rest of my life. I just thought that's the way it was going to be, that I was just going to be single. And I'm a member of the American Legion, and they have what's called the American Legion Riders, and we were on a bike ride that started in Western North Carolina, and it was going to go for 3 days. Me and a friend signed up for that, and we were on this bike ride, and we were on day 2, and we were going to Winston-Salem, and that's where we were going to stop for the night and spend the night. And the American Legions on the route would have food for us, they would have water for us, but this particular American Legion, they had beer. And so we were at the hotel getting stuff, and my friend turned to me and go, "I need a beer." And he goes, "What?" I said, "I need a beer." So I didn't really plan to go that night. Didn't have no plans going to the American Legion that night, but went across the road, and that's where I meet the love of my life. My current wife is there, and she's also a former Marine. And she was there selling spaghetti tickets. So, we meet, and never believed in love at first sight. But I knew in 5 seconds of meeting this woman that she was going to be my life. So this one, we only have one problem. She lives in Winston-Salem. I live in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So we against all odds, against any kind of common sense, we started dating. We did a long distance date. We met everywhere between Winston-Salem and Jacksonville, North Carolina on Interstate 40. We talked on the phone from that night to our first date, the first time that we actually went on a date, we talked on that night for a month. We talked every night for a month. So we got to know each other before we went on a date. So when we went on our first date, it felt like we known each other all our lives. So I think that was, and she does too, she thinks that those 30 days just talking on the phone. And then our first compromise was a long distance relationship. So it was that meeting here and meeting there. And we did. Like I say, we up and down Interstate 40. I know it well. So we made a decision. I made a decision that I was going to move to Winston-Salem. So I spurred of the moment. I quit my job and packed everything up, and that's when you know somebody. That's how you know you love somebody, when you're willing to just relocate and throw all caution to the wind. But moved to Winston-Salem. We got an apartment together, and a year and a half later, I asked her to marry me, and so we started calling people to give them the good news, and people didn't believe it. They did not believe that I was finally going to get married after 10 years of being single. Most people thought I was going to be single for life, but and then as people meet Tammy, she's just so likable. They understand why we got married, because I had no choice. This woman won my heart and never looked back.
Yes.
But amazing. Like I say, she understands me well. Being a Marine, she understands how I think, why I think, and why I do certain things. So that helped out. My wife was in the Marine Corps band. And when she was in the Marine Corps band, she was one of 7 piano players.
Wow.
Yeah. So sings. She can sing. She's a singer. Wish I could sing the way this woman sings, but there's no hope, so we don't even try. We just let that go. But she's been singing. How long have you been singing? 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I sang professionally for 15.
Yeah.
Wow.
She sang professionally for 15 years. She got to open for Charlie Daniels, Loretta Lynn, and so her story is just as interesting as mine. And if you think that you think we were made for each other once you meet us, and I think we were. A little side note: my wife and I, we never met in the Marine Corps, but we think that when she was in Jacksonville, North Carolina, we were supposed to meet. And my first wife is also named Tammy. So we think that the universe gave me the wrong Tammy that night. and the way we just fell for each other so fast, it was the universe was correcting itself. That they realized I got the wrong Tammy, and now it made the corrections, and I wouldn't change it for nothing. I mean, we went on the road RVing shortly after we got married. We bought a used RV, knew nothing about camping, and we hopped in, and we were gone for almost 7 months. And if you want to find out if you're made for somebody and you love somebody, move into an RV and try to back the RV up. Backing an RV will test you.
Yes.
There was one campground where people came out and was watching us as we were back. We weren't arguing. I was just trying to tell her what to do. She just wasn't listening to me. So they were outside, and one person came up and he goes, "Everything okay?" And I was like, "Oh, we're not arguing. This is who we are." But yeah, live in an RV. Try to back an RV up, and you'll find out if you love that person or not real fast. But we survived. We're still together. Our first grandchild.
Oh, she just woke up.
Yeah. Raven, she's our first grandchild, so we are taking care of her right now. Her mom is a active duty police officer for the Lincoln Police Department.
Awesome.
So we let her do her thing, and we take care of the baby in the daytime. So she doesn't have anything else to worry about. You know, we want her to focus on her job, not that, you know, kids is not being taken care of. So, and then we had our one test together. I wouldn't say a test, but we had our moment together. This time last year, I was cutting grass, and a piece of metal flew out from the lawnmower, hit a wall, ricocheted back to me, and hit me in the left ankle. Knocked me to the ground. I didn't understand what happened, and I just knew that something was in my leg. And so I look around, there's no neighbors outside. I'm out there all by myself, so I have to low crawl to the house and tell her to call EMS. And we go to the hospital, and first hospital tells me there's nothing wrong. There's just a piece of metal in my leg, and they will just probably leave it in there. But my leg is swelling up. I can't move. It's numb, and I know there's something wrong. And we go to my primary doctor 2 days later, and they take some X-rays, and there's a piece of metal. It's an inch long.
I don't remember exactly how long.
Like
it
an
was.
inch, almost an inch long. It's in my bone, and it fractured the bone. So we had to have surgery to get the metal moved, and I spent the next 30 days hopping around waiting to recover. So I'm feeling good. Christmas rolls around. We have a great Christmas. Later that night, I get sick. I'm throwing up. I got a fever, and I thought it was something I ate. Nope. By morning time, I tell her, I look at her and go, there's something wrong. I just don't feel good. Something's not right. So we head into the hospital 30 days after my first surgery. So we're at the hospital, and they tell me I have a bad gallbladder. During this, while we're waiting for the operating room to open up so I can go in for surgery, Tammy has to point out to the doctor that I'm starting to turn yellow. I mean, my eyes are turning yellow, my skin is turning yellow. And so we could tell just by the way I'm acting, because I have a high pain tolerance, right? I can handle pain pretty good, but we knew there was something up other than it's just a normal gallbladder, from what we see. So we have the surgery. Doctor comes out and tells her that they're going to put me in the hospital for a couple of days to make sure I don't leak. And we were on an assumption that because of the surgery, they had to cut next to the common duct, that there was a possibility that there was going to be some leaking, and they wanted to make sure and do blood work every day, make sure that was happening. So we stayed in the hospital 4 days. We get discharged. We come home a week later. We go for a follow-up visit. And they're just amazed how well I'm recovering. And so we're thinking we're on the right track. Things are looking good. Recovery's going well. No. That's when we actually find out they only cooked half my gallbladder. They ran into some complications, and only cooked half my gallbladder and sewed the gallbladder up, and I needed a second surgery.
Wow.
Yeah, so we thought we were on the home stretch. So they transfer us to another hospital that's more up to date and more advanced and has the latest equipment. And so within 90 days, we have 3 surgeries back to back. Now, what is amazing about it, this woman never left my side. And if you don't think that having somebody there and making sure that you are doing the right things, she would make me do this breathing test every day. I hated that breathing test. But you got to have somebody like that pushing you like that. But you got to have somebody there. She never left my side. I never wanted for anything. And all the doctors or nurses knew that whatever they were talking, they had to go through her. She would question everything. She would question what kind of medication I was on. You got to have a patient advocate in your corner, and she was the best. But now, like I say, on the second flip side of that, she didn't let me cheat either. You know, You know, I didn't get sodas. I didn't get Monsters. You know, she was a big part of my recovery, and I could only imagine if she wasn't around during that recovery, how bad it would have been. But at this point, I thought I was healthy. I didn't think I had any major problems. I think I was getting through. And then, you know, the big takeaway from that is you can't stop problems. It's how you handle the problems, you know. And then having the right person next to you when you're having those issues. And I think she was a godsend. I guess the biggest takeaway about my 3 surgeries were that I'm new to Lincolnton. This is my wife's hometown, so you know she knows everybody. I know nobody. During this time frame, my only support group was the gym I was going to, and you know I go daily. I try to work out daily, and I try to work out, and I was really taken back about the phone calls, the text messages, and emails I got. Totally amazed that just a small group of people that I only knew for a short time went out of their way to make sure I was okay. And having that support group, it really makes a difference in your recovery. And, you know, I went to the gym, wasn't supposed to. I wanted to do something, just keep moving, but everybody there made sure I didn't do no more than I needed to. So it kept coming around, making sure I was okay, making sure I had water. Even like I say, didn't know nobody, and the only people I knew was the ones I see at the gym, and just totally, once again, blessed to have friends in just a short period of time. And like I say, those phone calls, those text messages do cheer you up, and they do go a long ways to make you feel. And once again, thankful for all the guys at the gym. They made a difference. Thanks. And we are just trying our best to have as much fun as we can. As this one gets a little older, we have plans of going back on the road. We want to get back in the RV. We still have the RV, and we want to get on the road, and we just want to have fun. And probably take this one with us.
See, that's right.
And now that's my story. Like I say, I did 20 years in the Marine Corps. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I would do it all over again. You know, you always learn. You know, from my first marriage, I many takeaways of what to do and what not to do, and you know, and just you know, wish I met her, Tammy, sooner. I wish that's you know, we all would like to meet our soulmate a little sooner, but she's my soulmate, and we're going to grow old together. That's it.
Man, that was so powerful. Sergeant, no, not Sergeant. What?
Gunnery Sergeant.
Gunnery Sergeant.
Yeah.
Chambers. Man, I appreciate you. That was so powerful. So all the numerous awards and ribbons and accommodations you've earned, man. The Navy and Marine Corps Meritorious Service Medal, the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medals, 2nd award. Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal, 3rd award. Combat Action Ribbon, 2nd award. Presidential Unit Citation. Navy Unit Commendation. Meritorious Unit Commendation. Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, 5th award. National Defense Service Medal, 2nd award. Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal. West Asia Service Medal. Good God, I'm still going. Good. Woo, man. Iraq Campaign Medal. Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal. Global War on Terrorism Service Medal. Humanitarian Service Medal. Sea Service Development Ribbon, 4th award. Kuwait Liberation Medal, Saudi Arabia. Kuwait Liberation Medal, Kuwait. Oh my God. I've never heard nothing like that, man. Brother, we appreciate your service, man. So that was another episode of What's Your Story? Edward, I appreciate your time.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, thank you, man. Thank you for your service, man. So stay tuned for What's Your Story?